And we welcome you to episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. So glad that I am back in the host saddle. We have a lot to catch you up on the wild card weekend, but we will start with a headline. Mike Tomlin steps down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we preview the divisional round and give you our picks on the Kirby on Sports PickEm with a little twist. All that and more comes your way next on episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us here on episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast on the Kirby on Sports podcast YouTube page or the audio realms. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much. A huge thanks to all of our sponsors for making the Kirby on Sports podcast what it is today. Frederick County Parks and Recreation, the title sponsor of the Kirby on Sports podcast. PM Plus Reserve, Shenandoah Primitives, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Shenandoah Music, Icon Media, On the Road Driving School, Nulook Landscaping, and Barry Pearson with Equipment Share Advanced Solutions for all your equipment rental needs. Don't forget Don't Sleep Energy, the official energy drink partner of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time. Not wasting any more time, the three-man booth is back, and I bring on 2/3 of the three-man booth, Dan Dembski. What's up, buddy?
1/2. All right, I'm not going to go there. I'll let Carlos handle this. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Had some really great football games over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Really exciting playoff matchups, minus a couple games. In the wild card round, super wild card weekend. It was a lot of fun. But glad to be back. Glad to be back with the three-man booth to talk all about it, and excited to get into that with you boys today.
Absolutely, and we bring in another member of the team, the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez. Good to see you, brother.
Kirby.
Hey, man.
1/2.
What?
We need to work on your fractions.
That was really bad, Kirby.
I'm sorry. How you doing, man?
You should know better. We already corrected you on this.
Multiple times.
And here we are again.
A new year, same issue.
Do better.
Oh my.
Are you doing all right, Carlos? Can we get past that and see how you're
asked
doing?
the question 3 times and I didn't answer, Kirby. I feel like we should stop asking the question when I ignored it twice. I'm fantastic.
Well, glad to hear it. I'm glad everybody's doing well. I want to pose one brief question.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go.
No, scrap it. We'll wait. Never mind.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew it. Yeah.
Just we'll wait on that.
No, you already started. You might as well finish.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask, if you could rate the wild card games in order from most exciting to least exciting, which ones would you pick in that order?
Well, I would pick the Cancun Bowl between the Ravens and the Chiefs first. That was super exciting. No, I mean, I think the consensus is the best game was probably Bears-Packers.
I agree.
Just because of the ending.
And the comeback from the Bears.
I think you then can. I think there's a little flexibility between what 2 is. It can either be Rams-Panthers or it can be Jaguars-Bills. I think I would probably go Rams-Panthers just because that one was kind of a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go Jags-Bills. Then you would go 49ers-Eagles.
That was a fun one.
Then you would go Patriots-Chargers, and then last would be Steelers-Texans. That game was terrible.
Yeah, I wrote it out. That's my list.
Yeah, that's mine as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. A lot of exciting wild card football. We'll get to that, but we got to start off the show very briefly. Mike Tomlin announces he is stepping down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who would have thought the day would come where John Harbaugh is no longer the coach of the Ravens and Mike Tomlin is no longer the coach of the Steelers?
I mean, I saw it coming. It's not that surprising.
I mean,
not surprised at all.
Look at the two franchises, the tenure, the head coach.
Hello,
Tomlin. That's just crazy. You don't see that anymore. You know,
no, you don't.
A lot of respect for those two across the board. They've had a lot of success, and it's the end of an era in the NFL, if you will.
Yeah, it's
like, is there a question to pose here at the end, or were you grandstanding like you always do? Like,
I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, just overall.
God, come on, host, you were off 1 week and you're rusty as hell here.
I think.
Dan, what were your thoughts here?
I think
this was your most bitter rival.
When you want to like group Harbaugh and Tomlin together, just because they came in 1 year apart, obviously division rivals, they faced each other, I think 36 times or something like that throughout the years they coached. So a lot of experience with each other. They're kind of that old guard of coaching, right? Like sort of that throwback, kind of tough, hard-nosed style of coaching that really is not. You still see some coaches who have that practice generally in the NFL, but it's not like it was when these two guys came into the league in 2007 and 2008 respectively, where that was the norm, right? Like having a head coach who was this kind of like tough guy and kind of instilled that into his players. That doesn't really happen much in this era of the NFL, and that's kind of what we've seen kind of change throughout their careers, right? Is the NFL has changed obviously from everything from obviously rules to just, society in general. But my thoughts are that obviously I have a ton of respect for what Mike Tomlin did as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. It's kind of a love-hate relationship where obviously you hate him and you hate the team when you're playing them and in any matchup they're in, really. But the one thing about Mike Tomlin I think that is just so unique is you can really tell he was just a student of the game, really. I mean, smart guy, just understood the history of the NFL, kind of understood the levity of being the Steelers head coach, which means a lot. Obviously, we all know there's been 3 head coaches in 50 years of that franchise.
Crazy.
That's important, right? Like that's a milestone moment to have coached for as long as he did for that franchise, which is a proud franchise of 6 Super Bowls, obviously with he himself winning 1 Super Bowl in his time as head coach. But I think if you just look at it from that lens, like you have to respect the amount of wins obviously he had. We all know he didn't have a losing season as a Steelers head coach. Obviously the playoffs, post Steelers Super Bowl are a different story. I think especially in the last decade, they've struggled quite a bit in the postseason. We all know that. We've talked about that.
0-7 in his last 7 playoff games.
Yep, 0-7, and they're just the number they've been outscored. Just the point differential is insane in those games. But I think even if you include that, you have to respect what he did for so long, and with a historic franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not easy to kind of have to adapt over time as an NFL head coach. And I think we saw, I mentioned this with John Harbaugh last week, and it kind of reigns true with Mike Tomlin, where these guys had to change schematically and just the way they coach their players and everything they did. And I have to give Mike Tomlin credit for being able to do that and stay with the times, and also kind of continue his style of coaching, which is, I think it left an impressionable impact on his players, because I haven't heard a single player say anything negative about playing for Mike Tomlin. And I think, again,
Antonio
that speaks. Well, we don't count him. We count people who, aren't medically insane. So I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. We'll see. But but I think it just speaks ultimately to my overall point about Mike Tomlin is just his character, right? He's a high character guy. He always has been. And I mean, even when it comes to talking about his rivals, talking about John Harbaugh, talking about the Ravens, he never had a bad thing really to say about anyone, which is kind of hard to find in this day and age. And I think that just, to me, speaks overall to what Mike Tomlin was. And he's going to be fine. He's going to take a year off from coaching. There's a lot of reporting around that, and apparently that's what he wants to do. Totally get that, right? You've been working in one job for almost 20 years.
Well, it's also he can't really take another job right now because since he's stepping down, like the Steelers still have his rights. So if he, they have his rights for the next 2 seasons. So if he goes anywhere, it's going to have to be a Sean Payton situation where the team that's going to sign him is going to have to compensate the Steelers for him. So it'll have to be a trade situation.
That's a really good point. I had forgotten all about that. So thank you for that. But that's it. I think he just won. He just won, really. And like we've talked about, it's the lack of playoff success, kind of similar to Harbaugh, but I think maybe even worse in Mike Tomlin's case, where the Steelers, like Carlos said, winless in their last 7 playoff games. It's just you're not going to survive forever in the National Football League if you can't win in the postseason. It's just how it is. And every franchise comes to that point where they have to make a coaching change and a decision, and the Steelers had to make that very difficult choice. But my hat's off to him. I wish him the best. I'm interested to see where he ends up next, whether it's with ESPN or whether he's in a studio role or whether he's on the sideline. He's not getting on the sidelines, but if he's in the booth or if he's on a pregame show, whatever, he's going to excel whatever he does, because he's really smart. Like he understands it. So I have no doubt that Mike Tomlin will also be fondly remembered by pretty much the entire NFL. So that, to me, is his biggest legacy.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be back at some point. I imagine he'll get back into coaching. There's plenty of teams that are already trying to reach out to him to see if maybe he'll reconsider taking that year off and be their coach now. I mean, there's plenty of franchises that would love to have him. I think Atlanta would be a great fit. I think Atlanta would probably be his best fit, actually, now that I think about it. But, there's plenty of, teams that would love to have him, but would he cross the line and come be Baltimore's head coach? Probably not, but
no, I wouldn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be great on TV. He's charismatic as hell. I think he's going to kind of fill that little void that Belichick left when he went to North Carolina. He was starting to do some TV stuff and really like educating things. Maybe he ends up on NBC. Maybe he replaces Tony Dungy. I don't know. Because, Dungy's starting to get up there in age. Maybe he replaces Bradshaw on Fox. Because God, they gotta do something about Bradshaw.
He's funny as hell, though. I will give him that.
Yeah, but he's
might not be trying to be funny.
He's lost it. He has lost his fastball. Yeah, look, he's gonna do great on TV. I have no doubt about it. And then he'll eventually be back. And it was the right move for them at this point. Obviously, we know Pittsburgh doesn't fire coaches. You said it best. They've only had 3 coaches, at least in modern NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
And Tomlin left his mark, but it's also a case of, hey, like this team can't really improve because you're good enough to keep us like in the hunt in the playoffs, or at least like contending for a playoff spot, but you're not bad enough to get us a decent pick so we can get our new franchise quarterback. And we know that the NFL or, college, or I guess quarterbacks in the NFL nowadays, it's super hard to find them. A lot of them aren't really, ready-made when they come to the NFL. And you got to develop them a lot. And obviously the the higher up your pick, I guess the lower you're picking in the draft, the harder it is to get like a decent quarterback. And that's why ever since Big Ben left, they haven't had a guy, and they're relying on a 41-year-old quarterback to try to take him to the promised land. They're relying on a washed-up Russell Wilson. They're relying on a inaccurate Justin Fields, hoping that they can develop these guys.
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, Chuck Hodges. Who else do they have? Mitch Trubisky.
They have Will Howard kind of waiting in the wings. Maybe he's the next
is
guy.
Will Howard really an NFL quarterback though? Like,
we haven't seen him. We don't know.
We haven't seen him, but it's not like he lit up the world in college. Sure, he won a national championship, but I don't know. He was a 6th-round draft pick. He had just won the national championship. Like, I don't know. This isn't like a Brady situation here, They just don't make them like that anymore, where these guys are ready-made. A lot of them you have to develop. A lot of them have bad tendencies. And so this was just the right move. Now, who they're going to get, who's going to replace them, I don't know. The Steelers are kind of they're more notorious for high, because Tomlin came from the Vikings, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, he came from the Vikings. I don't know who's like in the wings to be like the next Pittsburgh head coach, like who fits that role perfectly. Like,
and I think too the issue for them is they're kind of late to the sweepstakes here, right? Like we have
all the coaches are still available. Nobody signed anything.
But what I mean is like,
then there's also a lot of teams also still waiting for other teams' playoff runs to end. So that they can then talk to those coaches. No position's been filled, so it's sure they're one of the later teams to get, into the coach, hiring game. But
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, but like
the interview process, really.
Yeah, but again, no coach has signed anything. They haven't missed out on any guys yet. So none of the vacancies have been filled, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, they're still in it with all these teams, and they still can have their pick. So I'm not necessarily worried about that at all.
Here's my take on this. The Steelers in the Rooney family, rich history, rich tradition when it comes to Pittsburgh Steelers football. I think we can all agree about that. I don't think that they're going to rush to any sort of judgment. I think the Steelers are going to take the most amount of time to make sure they get the right coach in that building, because, stuff's changed in the NFL. We all know it, but I feel like they're going to try their very best to make sure that this next coach will be there for 10 plus seasons like the rest of them, if that makes sense.
And that's what good franchises do when they decide to make these kinds of moves. These teams that are always looking for head coaches every 2 years, they usually hire the first guy they see. Now, it's funny that this year we haven't seen any hirings yet. I'm a little surprised by that, but I think it's just because you have a mix of some teams, some playoff teams or playoff,
Well, there's also just no wonder kid out there right now. Like,
that too.
A lot of the top candidates are retread candidates, guys who have already had jobs and didn't do well. There is no Ben Johnson out there, right? Like, there are guys that you're hearing whispers of, like, yeah, this guy, if you give him a head coach position now, he'd be great. And a lot of them fall under the McVay tree, but there is no like clear-cut coordinator out there that's like, yes, absolutely. Like, again, the top candidate for a lot of teams is Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy didn't call plays in Kansas City. We saw how bad Kansas City's offense has been since he took over that position, since Eric Bieniemy left.
I don't get it.
Sure, Stefanski's out there, two-time coach of the year. But I feel like he needs to be put in a good situation. Like, he's not going to go to a team like Cleveland. Like, he wants to be put into a situation where he's going to be able to win, i.e. Baltimore. You got Harbaugh out there, sure, but how is Harbaugh going to react to, not being in Baltimore, and having to start over? And, it's just, there's no candidate out there that I'm just like, that guy made sense for Pittsburgh. Maybe a Brian Flores makes sense, but I kind of want him in Baltimore. But
there's a couple
Flores
guys
makes
for
sense
Baltimore,
Pittsburgh.
but yeah,
He brings that grit and identity that Tomlin kind of has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but this offseason is just like the regular season. It's going to be weird, right? Like, it's different.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, how I feel going into this offseason when generally looking at the NFL landscape. So,
yeah.
It's bizarre.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was pretty much my only take on it. But Mike Tomlin's going to do just fine. I know that for a fact.
Wow. Really going on a limb out there.
Hot take artist. Hot take. Look out.
All right, we got a lot to cover here on episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. When we return, we dive in to wild card action because there was a lot of excitement. Stick right here with us.
Create lasting memories at the Someone Special Dance, presented by Finch Oral and Facial Surgery. Join us Saturday, February 7th, 2026, at West Oaks Farm and Market for a magical celebration filled with music, dancing, and smiles. Choose the time that works best for your family, 3 to 5 p.m. or 6 to 8 p.m. If you register before Thursday, January 1st, 2026, you'll save $5 per person. Dress up, hit the dance floor, and make memories your family will treasure for years to come. Register today for the Someone Special Dance, where every moment is worth celebrating.
For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. All right, back in business. So glad you're with us. This is episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm joined by Dan Dembski and Carlos Martinez. As always, I am Josh Kirby. Getting to the excitement, which is wild card football. We're going to cover all these games as they happen, starting off Saturday, Sunday, then Monday night. Starting off with the Los Angeles Rams and a victory over the Carolina Panthers, which we were talking off air a little. Actually, this was on air. A little bit of a surprise here. 3-point victory for the Rams over the Panthers in Carolina. Obviously, I just got to say there was a lot of fight by Carolina. I know Dave Canales said it. I'll say it too. There are no moral victories, but I think this Panthers team showed a lot of fight and going to show the resiliency on what they might be able to accomplish come next season, because it looks like this team has a very bright future in Carolina.
Yeah, this felt to me like a game the Panthers really should have won, quite frankly. But the problem is twofold. First of all, they left a lot of time for Matt Stafford. And second of all, their defense just could not get a stop when it counted most. That was the difference in this game. Yeah, I think in the playoffs, and we Carlos and I kind of talked about this last week. I think Carlos kind of brought it up. Like, playing in Charlotte is wacky stuff happens, right? Just crazy stuff happens there, and this seemed like it was heading for that direction. Another one of those games that the Panthers are able to get a bounce to go their way. I mean, obviously they beat the Rams earlier this season. Now, I know like that obviously doesn't matter as much when you're talking about playoffs because you can pretty much throw out the regular season, everything. But yeah, it was another great moment for Matt Stafford at the end of that game to drive down, obviously, and put them in position to score, that touchdown with 38 seconds to go. So, he has another vintage moment in him. But to me, it's the bigger story here is how close the Panthers came to knocking off. Obviously they're the higher seed, but no one expected the Panthers to even, which again is a whole other conversation for another day. I don't think an 8-9 team should be the number 4 seed anytime, but it is what it is. I digress, which again is the title of my forthcoming autobiography. Anyway, that joke didn't land. That was a car crash. Anyway,
God, we're off the rails. God dang it. All right.
I'll get us back. But yeah, this game I don't really know what to make of it overall, other than to say that the Rams underperformed for a good portion of it. They were able to finally get it together in the fourth quarter and put it together to win. But the Rams, I don't know whether to trust them in the next round of the playoffs. We'll see. But
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm saying because I was about to go on a rant there for a little bit, but I stopped myself. That's why I said that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, the most exciting part about this football game.
Oh boy,
Cam Newton banging that.
I knew it.
Kirby,
I knew it was coming.
Like
that, him coming out screaming.
How is that the most exciting part of the game when the game itself was exciting?
Get off.
You like
social
watching
media.
a guy bang a
Get
drum
off social
more than
media.
actual football?
I mean, I just thought it was cool.
Get out of here with that take. God.
Get off social media, Kirby.
Just seeing Cam Newton back.
Cool. Cam Newton was in Carolina, dude. It's not that big of a freaking deal. Like, my God.
I'm just saying, it was a pretty cool moment.
He lost the Super Bowl 10 years ago. Can we get over it?
That's exactly. He lost the Super Bowl 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, Cam Newton being back, like, it's not like he was. This isn't like Colin Kaepernick coming back to the San Francisco 49ers. This isn't like
that would be news.
This isn't like when LeBron James went back to Cleveland. Like
right.
These things don't compare. Like, cool. A
I
former player
thought it was cool. That's
Guess
why I
what?
wanted to share.
The Chiefs do that all the time too. Before every game.
Yeah.
Teams bring back legends all the time, and it happens.
But
I like how that's your only moment from this game, Kirby.
Part of the game was Cam Newton coming out. No.
The most exciting part of the game for him happened before the game even happened, which is the worst part of all this.
During the game, I know early on Bryce Young had some struggles. I think he threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah, it looked like the moment was too big for him.
Still, he made some pretty good plays. At points during the game. I mean, I know interceptions probably rattle a young quarterback like Bryce Young, but just looking at his performance and the team's performance, I think Bryce Young has a pretty bright future as well. And I think Dave Canales is the right coach to lead this team moving forward.
God, Kirby, they went 8-9, and they only got in because Atlanta won.
Yeah.
Like, this whole Dave Canales is the right. I don't know yet. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they got in because somebody had to get in the South. Okay. It's not like they had a 12-win season. They got in with a losing record, and sure, they played great. I will give that to them, but they played really bad a lot of times during the regular season. Bryce Young.
I agree.
Let us not forget, Bryce Young was benched in like week 3 of last season. Then he came back on, and it looked like he had figured it out. He started this season off really rough. He had his moments this year, but he had a lot of low moments. And and that whole experience happened in this game. So this whole notion of Canales is the right coach for this, I don't know that yet. We'll see what happens next season. Okay. Like, does he need to be fired? No, he doesn't need to be fired. They put on a great performance. Okay, but to be like he's the right guy to lead this team into the future. I don't
well,
know that. I don't.
Well,
you don't know that. Nobody knows that.
Well, I said that because he just looks like a strong leader. So I think that's a good thing to have in Carolina.
Well, looks can be deceiving, my friend. You
Yeah,
can
I
look as
guess.
strong as you want, and
Oh
it
my
doesn't make a
God.
difference. How many coaches have looked strong and have been terrible? Many.
A lot.
Many
yeah.
coaches.
So
Exactly.
my take is
Washington has had
100%
many.
bad, but you know.
Like, okay, so like I can't just sit there and be like, oh yeah, he's got like again, CJ Stroud
know.
has a great rookie season. Now you can't rely on him to even complete a pass. Like we just don't know yet. We don't know what this is gonna look like. Bryce Young played well in this game for the most part.
Yeah.
When he had
But
to. Yeah, when he had
he
to.
made plays when he needed to make plays, except at the end when they really needed him to make the play and to win the game, he couldn't do it. That's fine. Not everybody can do it. Okay. But I can't sit here and be like, yes, like he's got a bright future because we just don't know. I think they're going, hopefully this pushes them to go into the right trajectory here. They've gotten a taste of success. They've gotten to the playoffs. They had a great showing there. They went toe-to-toe with a Super Bowl favorite that they did beat earlier in the season because they beat the Rams. And that's why this game didn't necessarily, like everybody was like, oh yeah, the Rams are going to kill them. Did I expect the Rams to at least win a little more comfortably? Yes. I thought that, considering that they had already experienced what it was like to go there and lose and be upset by the Panthers, that they would be 10 times more prepared this time. And honestly, these games this weekend just kept taking years off my life because, we're in a very heated battle in the pick'ems and we need every win we can get right now. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a great game, great performance. On to the Matthew Stafford point. Yeah, that's what franchise quarterbacks do in the biggest moments when your team needs you to go out there and win the game. You go out there and win the game. And that's what he did. He did it. He didn't flinch. He just got it done. Did I think that maybe they scored a little too quickly? I did, because I thought they left a little bit too much time, and maybe Carolina was going to be able to go down and at least attempt to win the game. But then after like a couple of plays, I was like, nah, they don't got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just the last point I want to touch on is just the fact you mentioned Matthew Stafford. I mean, just solidifying his case for how good he's playing.
And again, is it really solidified though? It's
not
solidified?
It's really
I
not.
don't think it is.
You don't think so?
No, because you got Drake May over here. Even though he didn't light up the world, he did still win that game.
He
won.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no solidifying here.
This is the whole season. This is the season of not solidifying anything. We didn't have a clear vantage point coming into the playoffs that there was a juggernaut team, because there's not.
The playoffs count towards. I mean, the playoffs shouldn't count towards,
the MVP
because it's a regular season award. But still, like,
it
I
matters,
don't think
though.
this performance solidifies it, because it's not as if it took the whole game for Matthew Stafford to finally take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he struggled for a good portion of this.
He
game
did.
too.
He actually struggled a lot of times.
Yeah.
There were moments where he thought, oh, they're finally going to pull away, and then the defense would shut them down.
Well, I'll tell you this. When it mattered, Matt Stafford stepped up and produced a game-winning drive there.
Like Carlos said, that's what franchise quarterbacks do.
I literally said that.
I know. It's echoing your sentiments.
No, you're trying to steal my point again, Mr. Point Stealer.
He's back again, boys and girls.
I'm back again.
Kirby.
I'm back again. But the Rams moving on to the divisional round with a win over the Panthers. Let's take a short break. When we return, we talk about the next matchup, which was another thriller on Saturday night. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. And we're back, episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm Josh Kirby, joined by Dan Dembski and Carlos Martinez. Next game we want to touch on, the Bears and the Packers. In an NFC North showdown, the Bears coming from behind to defeat the Green Bay Packers, moving on to the divisional round. And I'm telling you, people were bringing the cheese graters for that one. What a performance. And for the Packers, how do you blow a lead like that? That's just crazy to me. Absolutely insane.
Kirby,
Well,
we saw 28-3.
Yeah, I was gonna say they did the same thing the Falcons did in that game. We've
seen 28-3. It's not that surprising. If there's one thing you can be assured of, do not underestimate the ability of the Green Bay Packers to choke.
They've done that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say with and this is looking at ESPN win probability. Let me see, where was that before?
What was their highest win probability?
I know
Looks like
Chicago
96% around there. And then what point
was that? Like, what was the score when they had a 96%? And because it tells you that.
Oh, okay, maybe 95. It was 95 at 21-6 with 2:21 in the third quarter.
Jeez.
Wow.
And then right before the drop off, let me find the high. With 6:36 to go, they had a 95% chance of winning.
Good grief.
6:36.
Yeah, man. Look, Caleb Williams was special in that fourth quarter. Like he made some throws that were insane,
Absurd.
And just from all the breakdowns that I've been listening to this whole week so far of what happened in that game and just like the psychology of it, it just seems like for Caleb Williams, it's just he loves the chaos. He plays better in that chaos. He's not the type that feels comfortable when it's like stable. That's why he likes to roll out and he likes to make the crazy throws because that's where he feels like himself. And you saw it, dude, in that moment when he made that crazy pass, like that jump pass, whatever, that they put the Air Jordan logo on it, when he made that, that pass needed to be absolutely precise, and it was a perfect pass. Like, it needed to be exactly where it needed to be. Look, that game was crazy. It was good, and it's just nuts because that first half, the Bears were just getting demolished. Like, it was so bad that Ben Johnson was going for it on fourth down in his own territory because he was like, dude, if we fall behind to this team, the way that, Jordan Love and that Green Bay offense is picking apart our defense, we're in trouble. We're not going to make it out. And then the third quarter, they go into halftime, that stadium is dead silent. There's no noise coming out of it. The fans are stunned. They're like, this is really what we're really about to lose to the Packers again. Seriously, in the playoffs, this is how you're going to come out. And then it's not like it picked up in the third quarter. They only got a field goal because they went into halftime 21-3. And then just something flipped in that fourth quarter. And it's just something that the Bears have been doing all season, man. It's like the cardiac Bears, man. That's what they are this season. they just do. This is what they do. They like to be down going in the fourth quarter, and then they like to just go for it. And then they just unleash the hounds, and then they just go. And then next thing you know it, they're winning the game. And, McManus, man, just had a hit.
That did not help.
Missed extra point. What was it? 2 missed field goals? He missed 2 field goals, correct? I mean, that's 7 points right there. I mean, that wins the game.
That's the difference in the game. Yep.
Yeah,
my dad was very vocal about him too missing those kicks. My dad's vocal about any field goal kicker who's mixing extra points or short field goals. It's pretty funny, actually.
It can't happen in today's NFL for sure. Yeah. I think where I look at it too is kind of give the Bears defense a lot of credit too, because they were able to finally step up and settle in and finally start to get some stops. Because, like you said, Carlos, they were like Jordan Love could do no wrong throughout a good portion of this game.
At least in that first half, but then in that second half, he played terrible.
Yeah. It was really the tale of two halves. It was pretty crazy. But the Bears defense deserves a lot of credit for adjusting big time, because they really did make a lot of changes. And let me see. How many times did they sack? Let me see. I don't have that here. Actually, hold on. I can get that. Sorry. I'm just trying to see real quick. Okay, so they only had 1 sack. So maybe
it wasn't they weren't necessarily like hitting him, but they were getting pressure on him. But then also finally that secondary started locking down.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me.
But also the Packers play calling got super conservative, and they started playing not to lose.
It did,
instead of playing to win, and step on the Bears' throats, and end it. Essentially, they couldn't do it. The Bears. Again, it's not like the Bears took the whole half to do this. It took them till the fourth quarter. That's when they started really going.
Yeah.
Green Bay had plenty of opportunities to extend their lead. And in fact, they did extend their lead at one point, because they got it from 21-6 to 27-6. And at that point, you're like, oh, okay, it's over. But no, then the Bears just kept going. And the next you know it, they're in the lead. And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was in the blink of an eye, really. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. Look, it was a great performance. It was fun. It was fun to see, but it's a very dangerous game to play that way, because then you start thinking, oh, in the fourth quarter, like, we're just going to turn it on. We're just going to go. And we've seen many times in the NFL that when teams start winning like this constantly, which the Bears have done, there's going to eventually come a moment where it doesn't cut on and you can't do it. And you're going to come, and the competition gets stiffer and better. Look, the Packers were dealing with a lot of injuries. I guarantee you Micah Parsons is playing in this game. There's just no shot Chicago makes that comeback. And I think what's great about this is also the aftermath of the game between LaFleur and Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And the absolute hatred between them. I love it. I love that this is finally becoming the rivalry that everybody hypes this thing up to be. And I love that there's a genuine dislike between the coaches, because you rarely see that in football. It's hard to find.
Yeah,
because a lot of it is very respectful nowadays. It's usually between the players, but like this is between LaFleur and Ben Johnson. And it's like, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. So we'll see if this lights a fire under the Packers, to be like, we got to regain control of this division. The Lions and the Bears are starting to think that they can, talk some smack. Even though the Lions didn't make the playoffs, but obviously, they've been one of the premier teams for the past few seasons.
Yep.
The Vikings, the Vikings are the Vikings. They're still little brother in this division.
They have some work to do. Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think it was a fantastic game, fantastic atmosphere, and good on Caleb Williams, man. He really showed why he was the number 1 overall pick finally. Because he can do things like that, make plays like that. And it was something that a lot of people were like, we don't know if he'll ever be the the way he was hyped up to be coming out of college, and he really showed it there in the fourth quarter to come back and win.
Yeah, and let's face it, a lot of people said at the start of this season, and I think obviously at the end of last season, that he's not the guy, that he wasn't going to be this franchise quarterback. And I think he's had some ups and downs this year, of course, as every NFL season does. But you get your team to 11 wins, get into the postseason, and anything can happen. And you got to give Caleb Williams a ton of credit for what he's been able to do this season. And yeah, he pretty much put the team on his back in that fourth quarter. It was pretty much mostly him. And again, I think you got to credit the defense too for being able to step up and get Green Bay off the field, which was huge as well, by saving time, because Green Bay did not do a good job of running clock either. That was absurd. They just couldn't do anything to keep the clock running, which ended up biting them in the ass, obviously. So yeah, this I think Carlos nailed all of it. I don't have anything additional to add.
I agree.
So, great game. Just a really, really fun game. And honestly, an intense, heart-pounding game for my team not even playing. I was feeling like I was a fan of one of these two teams. So
I just got to say, what a treat for the city of Chicago, because you saw that place after the game. It was going crazy. And the guy grating cheese. It was hilarious.
That's become the new thing now this year. Yeah.
It was just great to see the city of Chicago was waiting for something like this to come, and they have another home playoff game, which is pretty huge as well.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Not one, but two playoff games at home. So exciting stuff.
It had an AFC championship. An NFC championship game at home, and it didn't really help. So it's just like, okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, the city of Chicago and the Chicago Bears, they are moving on to the divisional round. We talked about
wait. Before we move off of that game, I think the question does need to be posed, though, because there was a lot of talk about it. Obviously, it came out that the Packers and LaFleur are talking extension. Do you guys think that they should extend LaFleur? How long has he been the coach for?
I don't even remember how long.
Give or take 6 years, I want to say. Because McCarthy left. Yeah. Because LaFleur took over in like 2020, 2019. 2019, I think he took over.
I would say there's a very short lead.
He became the Cowboys coach for 2020.
Yeah.
So I think he took over like in 2019. And that time, they've had a lot of success winning wise, sure, but they haven't necessarily gotten over the hump. And they keep losing kind of these, again, these choking performances, like games like they should have been able to beat Tampa Bay in that NFC Championship game. They should have beaten San Francisco in the snow. What's another one that they lost? San Francisco a couple years ago, they had the lead, and then San Francisco came back and won. This year, obviously, against Chicago, where you have a gigantic lead, you're dominating this team in every facet of the game, and then you crash and burn at the end. Is there a case to be made that they shouldn't even consider re-signing him? What do you guys think?
I think if he gets re-signed, it's going to be a very short leash. I know the success of LaFleur.
Why would you think there'd be a short leash?
Well, because I think I'm not sure who. I guess the front office in Green Bay, I would imagine they want to see more winning results. In a playoff game like that doesn't help. And if that continues, the Packers get in as a 7 seed or not perform well in the playoffs, I don't think he's going to be there much longer.
I disagree with that. I think he's gotten them to the point where obviously they should be winning these playoffs games. No one's going to argue that. But this is an offseason in particular where we just said it. There's not a guy out there who you can bring in who's going to, that you can check off a box that's going to do immediately better, right? That's just That's just not this year. So I do agree with your 1 point, Kirby, that I think maybe a short leash or a shorter contract, 2-3 years, makes the most sense for the Packers to sort of position themselves into, seeing how this plays out, but also planning for the future as well. But yeah, right now I think they need to bring him back because there's just not that home run, head coach out there right now. So I think it makes the most sense to bring him back. And you guys are both right. There's no reason for them to lose these playoff games and in this fashion. To lose a game like this where you blow such a huge lead, especially in the fourth quarter, should never happen, especially in the postseason. But I just think right now, for just looking at the entire landscape, I don't think they have any other options, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole point also. It's like, okay, who's going to replace him? Like, who are you going to get? And also, I think LaFleur is the right guy. I just think that sometimes it gets stricken by bad luck. And it's more so like, hey, like when you have these leads, you got to go for the kill. It's not about maintaining. You got to just keep, because if Josh Allen gets you in this position and the Bills get them, they're not letting up. They're going to keep going. We've seen what they do, what they could do. Patrick Mahomes is going to keep going. Andy Reid is going to keep, putting the pressure on. And Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they will 100% keep going. They don't care. They're going to be like, dude, we're going to run up the score till it's 48-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And even then, our backups are going to keep going too. So for LaFleur, it's about, he needs to get that killer instinct of like, hey, we're only up 21-3. Like a couple of plays here and there, and they're back in the game. Let's go increase this lead by at least 2 more touchdowns.
Yep.
And make it a 35-3 game, and then there's no shot that they're going to get back. But no, then they decided to just whiff, basically. So I just wanted to ask the question if you guys thought that, because that's obviously been a topic of conversation on the interwebs about whether, because obviously the report came out that they're talking extension and stuff like that, and whether they should keep LaFleur or if they should let his contract play out and then decide after his contract plays out, or if they should just fire him altogether because of the constant playoff disappointments.
Yeah, and I think it's like the whole social media thing of like everybody wants their team to win a Super Bowl, but it's not realistic. Like, let's face it.
Only one team wins.
There's only one team wins at the end, and everyone else is left disappointed and wondering, do we have the right coach? It's just we live in such an instant gratification era in general, just in society, but especially in sports. Like, people need to tamper their expectations and realize that sometimes they're not going to always go to the Super Bowl, right? Like, not every team is going to be the Patriots of old or the Kansas City Chiefs of the last, however many years at this point.
But that's a fair point to bring up about that, is that like Kansas City brought Andy Reid in 2013, I think it was.
Yep. Yeah, 2013.
2014. It was one of those 2 years. He didn't win his first Super Bowl until 2019-2020 season.
Exactly. They gave him time.
They gave him time, and obviously we've seen the run of success. Bill Belichick, his run was a little different. Because he in his first 2 years.
Well, he had been a head coach before that.
Yeah, but he had been the head coach of Cleveland, and then obviously there was a whole thing with the
debacle with the Jets. Yeah,
and all that stuff. But
he won pretty quickly, but I think it was just perfect timing for him. It was kind of right place, right time type of situation.
I guess you could say McVay. McVay is a good choice there too. I mean.
But more often than not, it doesn't work that way.
It's the same boat. Like, he's a young guy. He's got to figure out how to work things. It's the same with LaFleur. LaFleur obviously was a McVay guy. So,
right.
I don't know. I wouldn't move off of him. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a bad coach.
He's a good coach. Yeah.
I think it's just he needs to play call better at the end and,
Agreed.
Kill it. But, all right, I've held us on this topic for too long.
There we go. Just a lot of playoff football. It's so exciting. Just covering all these games. And don't worry, we have so much more coming up right after this.
Hey there, Kirby on Sports Podcast fans. Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here for you. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, buying or selling, I'm your guy. I would love to help you out. And you can also find me on my own personal podcast, Iconic Talk, where you get a chance to learn about the local real estate market and why Winchester is an amazing place to live. Reach out to me anytime, 540-247-1527, and find Iconic Talk anywhere you get your podcasts.
And we're back. That was quick. I'm Josh Kirby, joined by Dan Dembski and Carlos Martinez. Let's talk about another wild card matchup, another exciting and very close game. The Bills over the Jaguars, 27-24. This was a very exciting game to watch, boys. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills coming out on top against the Jaguars. You know, the Jaguars just at the end, they had a chance to go down, try to win the game, but Trevor Lawrence firing an interception there to seal the deal for the Buffalo Bills. And just overall another thriller, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this kind of had, tinges of Allen Mahomes. Obviously not to the same level because those games are always ridiculous. Tinges.
Not even close.
Tinges.
No, not even close. It was
all right. Well,
hold on.
Well,
okay.
hold on. Well, let me.
Hold
can
on.
I talk?
Well,
Am
hold
I gonna
on.
get to talk?
I just gotta make the point. Like it was good, but Mahomes Allen, it was not.
I said tinges. I did not.
Not
say
even
the whole...
tinges. There was no hints
Whatever.
of a duel like that happening here.
I think you're wrong, but that's okay because you're a Chiefs fan and I expect nothing less.
I mean, look, we witnessed 13 seconds. We witnessed the AFC
I know.
last year.
I didn't say
there was no tinges of that,
yes.
Dan. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Well,
was it a great
wrong.
QB battle? Yes. Was it Mahomes, Allen? Anything? No.
You can't say anything to this guy. This guy's unbelievable. But
absolutely.
No, it was agree to disagree, obviously. So no, this was a really great back and forth game. It was a lot of fun to watch. And obviously people are going to talk about the two quarterbacks as we should. Because were the stars of their respective teams, right? I mean, it's just quite as simple as that. Obviously, we knew coming into this game, obviously Josh Allen has the more proven resume in the playoffs. Sort of waiting to see with Trevor Lawrence if he can get over the hill, if you will, of playoff success. He's had some playoff games, but obviously still waiting for that sort of signature win. And I thought through a good portion of this game, I really felt like at a certain point that Trevor Lawrence was going to finally, have a chance to etch his name and get past Josh Allen to advance into the AFC divisional round. But the difference in this game is just that Josh Allen was absurdly good. I mean, he didn't miss. I mean, he only had 70 complete passes in this game. Obviously, running the football as well, having that huge run where he was pulled by his lineman. I think his linemen deserve a lot more credit for that than they're getting. That I think that was a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
No. He was
it wasn't a touchdown.
Short. He was a yard short on that one.
Yard
then
short,
they did it again, and he got in.
Right. But I think that was a third down as well. So you're talking about a situation where, or maybe it wasn't third down, but
was it third or was it fourth?
I think it was a fourth down.
It might have been
fourth down.
fourth.
Also, yeah, it was like fourth and short, and they just needed a little bit, and then that's when they went all the way instead this time. And I was like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, the Jags defense was particularly bad in that play. You gotta make that stop early. At least stop him before he gets all those yards. But no, I think Josh Allen. Obviously, people are still going to criticize him for some odd reason, but he put the team.
I don't think there's really much to criticize him on this game.
No, not from people who matter, but obviously people on social media are going to, obviously.
Is there criticism of Josh Allen? Have you seen any?
I haven't.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not in this playoffs. Maybe I'm thinking of in past years. But
in past ones, it's obviously because he can't get past the Chiefs or, just can't make the Super Bowl. But yeah, I don't see why you would criticize because he had to overcome a lot in this game. And he had to really put on the Superman cape and drag that team, because the receivers weren't doing too much. There was no running game. That Jaguars defense did a phenomenal job of stuffing James Cook.
Yeah, just 46 yards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, the Jags kind of shot themselves in the foot because they saw that they could run on this Bills defense, and then they kept stopping. Like, they would get 2 good runs out of their backup running back, and they would get like a good run out of ETN, and then they would just not call it anymore. And I'm just like,
the John Harbaugh experience.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, come on. This Bills defense can be run on. It's been proven. They're one of the worst rush defense,
worst run defense
in the
NFL.
league.
Yep.
You have ETN, who's one of the, more dynamic running backs in the league. And you kept seeing that when you made your drives very run heavy, you were getting down the field. And then Trevor would make great plays here and there, but they were better on the passing plays than they were on the run plays. And I think that's where Jacksonville really lost the game, because they wanted so badly for Trevor Lawrence to be the hero of the game.
They were pressing. He was certainly pressing, I think, to try to be the hero for sure. And you saw it on that last pass. I mean, we talked about it at the start, but there
was no need. There was no need to do that.
You cannot throw it in the middle of the field in triple coverage. You just can't. Especially at that point in the game with that amount of time left. And I don't know if I think maybe they had one timeout, or I can't remember how many timeouts they had left at that point.
I believe they had a timeout. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they just had one though. So yeah, I mean, you got to think about that too, but yeah. It was just a great game for Josh Allen in this Bills offense. And also, like, look who he's throwing to. Like, who's his true number one receiver? Like
Brandon Cooks, Keon Coleman, and Shakir. And then, of course, Gabe Davis got completely obliterated on a terrible pass by Josh. We can't lie about that. That was a terrible pass, even though Tony Romo was trying to glaze it as a good pass. And I'm like, dude, what? Yeah. He just got this guy killed.
A hospital pass. Yeah.
Freaking hospital ball right there.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, this game just kind of boils down to teams that have been in the playoffs and have the experience, and teams that don't, quite frankly. And you can, of course, sort of see it with the Jags, too, with Liam Cohen in certain situations, just not at 100%. And you have to be in this type of situation, especially against a team, again like Buffalo, who has a ton of playoff experience, Josh Allen, who has a ton of playoff experience. You got to be on your P's and Q's, for sure. And the Jags just didn't quite have enough to get over the hill in this game. But I mean, I think certainly for the future, this is a Jags team that's going to be back in this situation for sure. Young coach, obviously. This was his first season, so he did a hell of a job in the first year as the coach. Trevor Lawrence, it seems like he's finally solidified himself after this time last year. Everybody was saying he might not be the guy, or he might not be who we thought he was going to be, but he kind of proved everyone wrong this season, which was great to see. So, and then obviously for the Bills, they take care of business, and they do what they've done in the playoffs for the most part. Obviously the challenge, we're going to talk about the games coming up, but this is a big challenge coming up for the Bills this weekend. It's gonna be tough for sure, but
maybe.
Yeah, I think it will.
Maybe. It depends when Denver shows up.
Well, that's true too. We've seen both sides.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It depends what Denver shows up. But we'll talk about that when
we'll talk about that. But that's all I got.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, the pressure's on Josh Allen. This is his playoffs. He's the biggest name in the playoffs. You don't have the other big names in this playoffs with him. I mean, and the field is wide open. It is a little nerve-wracking, the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a lot of great weapons to throw to. I mean, Keon Coleman has been an absolute bust. I mean, what does he really do? You're relying on Brandon Cooks, who's joined the team in November.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Impactful still. He made a lot of great impactful plays. And if James Cook, even though he was the leading rusher in the league, I mean, sometimes he can get stopped and stuffed and, contained. Yeah, look, I mean, Shakir is good. Shakir, we can all agree Shakir is good, but also his tight ends just didn't do much either. Knox and Kincaid.
Yeah.
They didn't do much for him, and that defense, it's very like we said, they really do struggle against the run, and
it's concern.
It is concerning.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when they needed to make some plays, they made the plays, and they got it done. It's just it is hard for me to think that. I mean, I guess it sucks because it's like, okay, look, none of our teams are in this, so if there's ever a time to be like, okay, Josh, go win one, it's now. Like, all right, look, it's not going to cost us anything. Like it's not like he's going to have to go through Kansas City to get there, right? He can go win his Super Bowl and then we can be done with it, and it's not going to cost the Chiefs or anything like that. But it sucks to think that like he's going to have to do it with this ragtag group that feels like
it's not
if
great.
He does not put on the Superman cape,
not great.
They're not going to get it done. And he had to put on that Superman cape. And Josh was phenomenal in this game. Like
he's perfect.
Great. That game-winning drive was a phenomenal drive. But yeah, I just worry that especially now that it's not like Gabe Davis was doing much anyways, but like losing Gabe, not necessarily having a dominant receiver to throw to, and having to rely on Shakir, and hopefully James Cook can get going. It's a slippery slope for Buffalo, and
there's little room for error.
It's like Josh has to be perfect. Now, granted, look, we hold Mahomes to the standard too. Mahomes did it with Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and
fair point.
A young Rashee Rice, and a very terrible offensive line. But Mahomes had a great all-time great defense. Josh doesn't have that.
He doesn't have that
to rely on. Yeah. So Josh has a defense that can make some stops. But if they go up against a Rams in the Super Bowl, like let's say they make it to the Super Bowl and they go up against the Rams, I have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to stop an offense like that versus being able to get the couple stops here and there against an offense like Jacksonville. And in terms of Jacksonville, I think Liam Cohen, definitely Coach of the Year candidate. I don't think he is Coach of the Year, but he's a Coach of the Year candidate. He's done a great job flipping this team around. And you got to think, they didn't have Travis Hunter for a good chunk of the season because of the thing. Brian Thomas Jr. just wasn't really used in this game, which is kind of like why? So then why even have him? Look, I mean, they might have something in Jacoby Myers. I don't know. We'll see. But I think Jacksonville's in the right trajectory. They're obviously they're in a tough division, with Houston having that great defense. And then we'll see what happens with Indianapolis if they can, actually finish, what they started.
Got some stuff to work on. Yeah.
I don't think anybody's worried about who's the last team in this division. Tennessee. Nobody's worried about Tennessee yet. Maybe ever, but we'll see. But yeah, look, it was a great game. All-time Josh Allen performance. Maybe not all-time. We've seen some great Josh Allen.
It's up there for him. I mean, he's had some great playoff performances.
It was a good playoff win for him, is what I'll go with. But yeah, I mean, and then for Trevor, brutal way to end it. But he showed a lot of growth this season, so that's a good sign. So hopefully next season he can take that next step, and he's going to learn from this and learn that when we need you to make that play, you got to make that play. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think you all nailed on pretty much everything. I agree with you, Carlos, and your thoughts on Jacksonville. They definitely are in the right trajectory there. And again, just another great playoff game. But boys, it's just such a treat when you get exciting playoff football. Am I right?
You never agree with me, but that's all right. Yes, you were right.
All right.
Maybe it's because I don't talk last. Maybe it's because you remember what Carlos said. But
Hey, I'll tell you
we
what.
said the same thing about Jacksonville.
I could have made a joke, and I'm not gonna do it.
I'll tell you what.
I can probably understand what it is.
I'll tell you what, though, boys. We've covered a lot of football, but there's still more to cover, and we're going to cover it next after we take a
These
short.
teasers are terrible.
Bed bugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bed bug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bed bugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
And welcome back to the Kirby on Sports podcast, episode 243. We're breaking down anything and everything wild card football in the National Football League. I'll tell you what, this was a surprising one. The San Francisco 49ers over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Again, I don't know if it was really that surprising. Was it that surprising?
We said this about Philly. We knew they weren't as good.
We've been saying all year how not great they are and how awful they are to watch. We knew it was going to happen.
Well, you see, the reason why I said it was a little bit surprising, the 49ers with the injuries on the defensive side of the football, it was sort of like the next man up, and they just
everybody uses fear of the injuries and all that stuff as if they haven't had those injuries since early on in the season.
That is true.
They are yet a 12-win football team who was fighting for the 1 seed not even a week ago. Like, let's stop the cap here and stop acting all surprised. And then the whole thing of, when George Kittle went down, then it was like, I don't know if they're going to do this. Dude, George Kittle is never healthy anyways. He's not that big of a factor, in my opinion. So
I agree with you.
Am I surprised that this happened? Absolutely not. I'm truly not. Did I pick the 49ers to win? No, because at the end of the day, the Eagles seem to always have found a way to win, even though they played terribly. Was this surprising to me? Absolutely not. This was not surprising. I actually kind of saw this coming, but I took a chance on the Eagles because I'm like, look, anytime I've doubted the Eagles, it's bit me in the ass. But this time trusting them bit me in the ass.
I'm saying it's surprising because defense plays a big part in the playoffs. But I get where you're coming from too, Carlos. So I sort of agree, but we're probably going to have to agree to disagree.
Disagree about what? Well, because my thing is, what I'm pointing out to you is that this whole notion of the defense, because they have all these injuries, they haven't had Fred Warner and Joey Bosa for the whole season.
Yeah, they've been out all year.
It's not surprising that they couldn't, that they did this. They know how to play without them. It's not like they lost them last week. So that's why your point just doesn't make sense. That's why this whole point of the injuries doesn't make sense at all to me, at all. And it's not just on the pundits in general.
Yeah, if they had started losing guys in week 10, week 12, week 13, all right, that's understandable, right? There's an actual debate to be made that had an impact because you don't plan for that to happen late in the season typically.
Yeah.
But Carlos nailed it. I mean, they lost these guys early on in the season. They had a chance to, work on their depth, to bring in guys who were, or coach up guys who were on the roster to sort of step in and fill those roles. And they did. And they did a fantastic job of it. You win 12 games with all the injuries they had. It's amazing. And we talked about this last week too. Nobody was talking about the 49ers.
I kept bringing it up throughout the pick'ems. Anytime they showed up, I was like, dude, they're sneaky good. Nobody's talking about them, but they keep winning. Nobody's talking about them. Right.
And that's kind of the way they liked it. You could see it in this game. They were fine with it. This was a great win for them for sure.
I have another question too on the other end. Verbal shouting match between Sirianni and AJ Brown. I wonder how fractured that locker room is behind closed doors.
I guess we'll never know.
They say it's fine, but
these things happen.
I guess
right?
we'll never know, Kirby, because they're gonna say it's fine, but I guess we'll never know.
yeah.
These things happen all the time, right? Like coaches and players get into.
I mean, yeah, look,
dude, all the time during
we
games.
saw it. We saw it in the Super Bowl. You know,
We
Travis
saw it with Andy
getting in
Reid
Andy's
and
face.
Travis Kelce. Yes.
Yeah, like it
On the
happened.
biggest stage.
It's just with the Eagles, it's more amplified because it's AJ Brown and it's Nick Sirianni, and we know things have with the offense have been very rough this season. So it's more amplified as to what that shouting match, but yeah,
AJ Brown should just try to catch the ball. That should be his goal because he had
well, it'd be
three.
nice if he could, but when he's barely getting the ball as it is, then you're throwing him passes and he's not warmed up. He's not in the flow of the game. It's tough. Look, I agree. In the biggest situations, your big players need to make the big plays.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's not like Petula was using these guys correctly, and that's why he got, kicked to the curb.
Well, he had the second most targets. I mean, in this game. So
in this game, yeah, sure. But what I'm,
but I would agree throughout the season they haven't utilized him properly necessarily.
Yeah.
And that's why they've moved on from him. So, Petula.
I mean, just this game overall, just
It was a good one. It was a good
very
game.
good. Very good for 49ers fans too.
And Brock Purdy did not have the best game, but I felt like
I agree.
he did just enough.
The wind did not help. The wind did not help. I mean, one of the best moments in the whole broadcast was Tom Brady explaining how you got to throw in the wind, like the way you got to change it, the science of it. I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. This is why we have Tom Brady on the show. But
I wish we could get him.
Yeah, the wind didn't help.
Emails.
You got to also think, look who he's passing to. He's passing to he doesn't have Ayuk. Ayuk's been MIA all season. That's a whole situation in itself. He's throwing to Juwan Jennings, Robinson, former Chief and Raven,
or whatever his name is.
I had totally forgot that Robinson had a stint with the Ravens with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, very, very short. Very short.
And he's throwing to those guys primarily. He's relying on he's hoping that Christian McCaffrey can get going. Now he doesn't have Kittle. I mean, it's not like Kittle is ever healthy. I feel like Kittle's always dealing with some type of injury. But I mean,
it's kind of a ragtag group. Got it done. It really is. Yeah.
They went out, they got it done, and what can you say, man? Like
you got to give the 49ers defense a ton of credit too for.
But hey, guys, at least it proves how hard it is to repeat.
It is pretty much impossible.
I mean,
unless you're Kansas City.
I mean, you mentioned too. Just I know his impact, but I feel for George Kittle going through that injury, though.
I mean, it sucks. Especially popping your Achilles at this point in the season. It really sucks because guess what? That means he's out pretty much all next year too. So we're not going to see George Kittle until the 2027 NFL season.
Jeez.
Like it really because it just really sucks. It does suck to see that happen to him. And yeah, my heart goes out to him. I hope we obviously wish him a speedy recovery and we hope he comes back.
I'm guessing it was really bad since there was some vodka requested to
Achilles, Kirby.
There was some vodka requested to the locker room after that.
Kirby, it was a popped Achilles.
Can I say this again, Kirby? Stay off of social media for 5 minutes, please.
God,
please.
Dude, just
that should be your news resolution.
Rotting over here.
Who knows about that?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know the vodka. It must have been really bad because they asked for vodka in the locker room.
I know,
bro, dude. It's a popped Achilles. You can't get worse than a popped Achilles. It's the same pain for everybody.
Yeah. I just saw it. I thought that was very interesting. But
What did I say in the group chat? Leave the funny to me.
yeah, I should.
Hey, I can be.
I'm not,
I can be funny.
I'm not
I can be
funny.
funny too. I can be funny too.
But
generally, yes.
Intentionally funny.
Yeah, well,
But-
that's fair.
a great game, and we'll talk about it more. But they have a rematch with the Seattle Seahawks come next week. Let's take another.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
well,
I'm done.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, how'd you guys think Jalen Hurts played? Because for me, he was kind of up and down a little bit.
I mean, I think
he was
played
okay.
decent.
I think he was okay.
I'm not going to say he shocked the world by any means.
Well, no, obviously not.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Shocked the world.
What?
He didn't shock the world. I think he was serviceable.
Kirby.
Uh-oh.
What? What are you talking? What are you talking about, Kirby? What are you talking about? He didn't shock the world. I don't understand.
I mean,
why are you?
He asked about Jalen Hurts' performance. I'm like, yeah, I don't think it was a world shocker.
Yeah,
it's
no,
a new
no, duh, Sherlock. Like
it's
it
a
wasn't
new phrase he's
it wasn't a
learned.
Super Bowl performance against the Chiefs where they lost. But it wasn't anything like that, period. It was one of the worst performances I've seen. This dude. Just move on. We know it was bad. It was a bad performance.
All right.
But it was a bad performance by the Eagles in general.
Yeah, they didn't. They weren't on it, unfortunately.
Didn't like the world.
All right, so
Yeah.
we're going to
Interesting
take a
quote.
quick break, and when we come back, we're going to paint ourselves.
We
We'll
get to
talk-
skip the last two games. Woo!
Thank
I'm just kidding.
God.
No, we can paint ourselves and briefly touch on the last two
Oh,
snoozers.
thank God.
We'll take a quick
Good.
break.
It's Jason, General Manager at Shenandoah Music, here to tell you all about... Jay, what are you doing here? Well, Matt, I'm trying to tell the people about our selection of guitars, basses, keyboards, drum sets.
I know that, but I always do the radio spots.
You get to have all the fun. I want to tell everyone about our huge selection, unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and in-depth knowledge.
Jay, I really don't think now is the time to discuss.
So remember, folks, when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester.
That's my line.
Thanks so much for sticking with us. This is episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. For the weapon Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez, I am Josh Kirby. Full disclosure, gentlemen,
You didn't watch. I fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, of course you did.
Patriots over the Chargers
man.
16-3. The Texans over the Steelers 30-6. I just thought we should talk about these two in one segment since these really weren't the most exciting.
How about we just talk about Patriots, Chargers, and then we talk about Steelers,
Let's do it.
Texans, just in one segment. You don't no commercial break in between.
Yep. Yeah, that's
we don't
that's
need
what
any
I'm
more
thinking.
My God, I got to run everything here, huh?
I mean, I watched probably a series or two, and
Okay, so then you don't have anything to say. So basically, what I'm just going to point to is the fact that Justin Herbert is not elite. I'm tired of people making excuses for him. I'm
Yep.
tired of the nerds guying over this guy who
Yep.
can't win a playoff game. He can't score in a playoff game. He sucks. He's terrible. He's mid-tier. He's not as great as he is. Arm talent will only get you so far. At the end of the day, he just doesn't have it. And I'm tired of people making excuses for him. Oh, his line is injured. Well, guess what? So is Mahomes. Mahomes had an injured line, and he still made it to the Super Bowl last year. All right? You can win a game. Can you not?
No, I think that's kind of what I was going to say, to be honest. Yeah, the Chargers have no offense. Simple as that.
It was so bad.
And for Jim Harbaugh to come out and say, well, if what was it he said? Like, it was basically like, well, if we said something about the offensive line, like we would have had a chance to win this game. I'm like, yeah, and if
Boo-hoo.
I'm not going to quote Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin said, yeah, and if my, aunt had, whatever. If you know the quote, you can look it up. I'm not going to repeat it on this family.
He'd be my uncle, basically.
Exactly, basically, on this family program. But, yeah, honestly, I wasn't blown away by the Patriots' performance either, but they did just enough in this game to, survive and move forward. That's
I'll tell you
the
who I was
biggest thing.
impressed by, though. Before he went out of the game with the concussion, Christian Gonzalez. He was
Oh,
phenomenal.
He's been great all season. He's been one of the top defensive backs all season. He's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really not much to say about this because
look, it was a great. It was. You could tell the moment was really big for Drake May at first.
Yep.
He settled down into it and then made the plays that they needed to win. And I thought that was great. I thought for what the game was, I thought it was a good performance by Drake May.
Agreed.
Given what was being thrown at him and his ability to win.
Right.
It's to go out and make the plays to win. He didn't light up the world. He didn't put up crazy stats.
There it is. Yeah.
But still did what he needed
did
to do to win as a second-year quarterback. So I love that. I love that aspect of it. I thought the running game was great. Their defense was really solid.
Really good. No, their defense
they
was
were
the star of this game.
They were beating Justin Herbert up, and I'm just like, yes, more, because obviously as a Chiefs fan, I hate the Chargers.
I mean, they were really I mean, the last couple of series, I was like, I started to feel bad. I'm like, damn, he's really getting hit hard out here right now.
I don't feel bad for him at all.
Understandable.
Like, he's fine.
And I agree with your initial point, by the way, when you.
But yeah, no. Look, at the end of the day, because every year they try to make him out to be like he's this, he's an elite quarterback. He's up there with the likes of Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow, which now we don't even know if Burrow's really in that class anymore. And they're just the football nerds just love him. They're like, oh, his arm talent is crazy good, and they just like. This is a family show, so I can't use that analogy. They just fawn over him so much, and I'm just like, guys, but what has he won? Nothing. Last year you get blown out by the Texans, then you blow that huge lead to Jacksonville, and then this year, this is a very winnable game. Drake May is kind of struggling here, to kind of get going. It's a very low-scoring affair. You should be able to do this.
Yeah, 3 points, not a single touchdown, and really they didn't really sniff close to the end zone in this.
No,
game.
They did. They got close, but then they got stopped on fourth down.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I watched the highlights on that one.
Mm-hmm. So it's
I
like
thought you said.
Yeah. So again, if you put Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. If you put any of the top level quarterbacks, whoever that may be in that situation,
they've all dealt with bad lines. Let's be honest.
They're going to leave with at least points. And that was another thing that Harbaugh messed up on there. He should have kicked the field goal at that point, but I digress.
Yeah, agreed.
But you should have just taken the points. You can't leave that situation with no points. But at the same time, the top tier quarterbacks, they're getting in the end zone. Josh Allen is going to truck his way into the end zone if he needs to. That's the difference between Herbert and
everyone else.
The top echelon of quarterbacks. He's just not that guy. He's just not. Is his arm talent impeccable? Yes, you can't deny that. This guy can throw the ball, but he can't win the big games. And at this point in time, you should have at least one playoff win. And he can't even get that. I rest my case.
No, you're right. I have nothing else to say.
Hit the nail on the head right
other than the Patriots defense is very scary, and
they could be a problem.
And we know how important defense is. Defense does win championships after all.
Well, we'll see how we'll see if Christian Gonzalez will be able to get out of concussion protocol, because
that'll be key.
The game did kind of open up a little more when he went out, but it still wasn't enough for Justin Herbert to do anything.
Absolutely.
And in terms of the Steelers Texans game, God, that game was terrible. That game was awful.
Can I make a point?
Hold on. Before you make that point, can we all agree that Monday night games just shouldn't happen in the playoffs?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Anyways.
Anyways.
So here's my point briefly.
Uh-huh.
The extent of what I watched in this football game, because I actually wasn't.
You don't have to always admit this, Kirby, by the way.
So, no, so I was watching, but my friend suggested, because we had a big party on Saturday watching the two games, and my friend
was it that big?
Oh yeah, huge. So
Was it
my
just
friend,
you two?
sorry, what?
Was it just you two?
No,
Two's a party.
It was a party. Was it 3 people?
no, like 10.
Oh, nice.
Three's a crowd.
Yes.
I was going to say,
So-
3's a crowd.
So as I was saying, he mentioned, "Hey, who's coming bowling with me on Monday?" And I'm like, "Bowling?" And he's like, $2 bowl night. I'm like, "Okay," because I take the bowling alley for granted, and because it's so fun on the $2 bowl night. So, anyways, I managed to get the Monday Night Football, the Steelers Texans game, on the screen. In the extent of what I'm watching in between when it's my turn to bowl is basically, and you probably saw this too, I'm not sure how many times this happened, but a throw by Aaron Rodgers goes incomplete. Then the camera goes on Aaron Rodgers, and you can clearly hear him frustrated, maybe cursing. I'm like, and I saw this probably 2 or 3 times, and I kept watching. I'm like, what is going on here? But
yeah, this was
the thing that stood out to me was Aaron Rodgers and his frustration in this game.
Yeah, he was terrible, and he could not figure out this Texans defense. He just couldn't.
Which is why I picked the Texans, because I figured he wasn't going to be able to figure them out because they're great. Now, the only concern I had was that Texans offense, which
and
don't
they
let
were not
the score
great either.
deceive you. It may have been 30-6 or whatever, but like it was not that kind of game at all.
I think Marks was probably the reason why their offense.
They found a run game out of nowhere.
He was really solid. And Christian Kirk also had a great game, but yeah, Stroud.
No, I'm not going to say that one.
No, I know. I have an idea what you're thinking, but it's okay.
Good old Stephen A.
Yeah, what a moron. CJ Stroud did not have a great game.
No,
and Carlos, you're exactly right. Which
so bad.
I saw, and here's me kind of hearkening to social media, but I did see on social media when he was, I think it was the NFL, I don't know if the NFL posted or whatever, but he was like saying bye to the fans in the stands or whatever, or goodbye or something along the lines, and I'm like, you had like a terrible game. Why are you like out here bragging into the stands? You did not set the world on fire to bring that back again.
I don't know. Remember, he tried giving Caleb Williams advice last as if he was a 10-year vet.
And yeah, my mind went back to that after I saw that.
Sense. How the mighty have fallen. Like, he had a great rookie season, and then it's just progressively gotten worse to the point where I'm just like, can this dude even complete a pass? Like,
I mean, he's an average quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
I will put him there. I will agree.
He's not anything special. He's down in Herbert territory, I would say.
Like, I feel like he really needs to like have a lot of self-reflection on himself.
Totally.
And then maybe we can get him back up to the level he was on his rookie year. But I gotta say, rookie CJ Stroud was 10 times better than this CJ Stroud. And
maybe too, it's because he didn't have that like extreme chip on his shoulder yet. Maybe is why that was, or it was like him against the world type of mentality. I don't know. Anyway, there's not much else to say about this game in general. The Steelers defense was not great in this game either, which, has been a big reason why they were even in this game to begin with. I felt like their defense throughout the season was at least something they could lean on at times. But yeah, it certainly was kind of not there. And again, Aaron Rodgers did them no favors on the other side of the ball, just throwing a lot of incomplete passes, just kind of out of sync. Quite frankly, from the start of this game.
TK Metcalf coming back and how much
2 catches.
Rodgers needed him, comes back and does absolutely nothing.
2 catches for 42 yards. That's all he had.
Now it'll be interesting to see what happens in Pittsburgh, because what it looks like, this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last game.
Yep.
So
And
it's like,
his
where do they
last
go?
pass is a pick six, which is just
Yeah, you know what? It's fitting.
It
Well-
is. It is.
I can tell you one thing for fact. Mike Tomlin got out to preserve that winning season record.
Dude, he had a winning season, like a winning season with Duck Hodges. Like he's gonna go at least 9-8 with anybody. Like
That's a name I'd forgotten until today. You said it a couple times now. It just makes me smile every time. Duck Hodges.
that's not why he left.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of silly, but
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah, I think I'll just finish by saying I think most people thought whoever wins that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game is probably going to lose in the wild card round, and
But you see, here's the thing. I think Baltimore would have put up a better fight.
I
I would
agree.
think so.
I
I
actually
would
I
think so.
agree.
think the Baltimore game would have been 10 times better than this
Yep.
shit that we got. Excuse my French. But this was awful.
it's okay to say it for this.
And I
yeah.
knew that it was going to be terrible. And that's why I was so upset when the Ravens lost, because I was like, dude, they're going to get killed. At least like Lamar and Zay Flowers and Derrick Henry, they're
They got
going to
some
be able
weapons.
to go at this defense. Who on the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be able to go at this team? Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to get hit. He can't move. Not that Lamar likes to get hit, but Lamar can move.
Yeah, he can move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry can move. There
Yeah.
were weapons on that team.
I agree.
And then I you know what? Actually, I will go this far. I think the Ravens could have beaten the Texans. I think they could have.
I
Because
agree.
The Texans' offense is terrible.
Yeah, it was bad in this game.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So I truly believe that the Ravens could have beaten Houston. But unfortunately, they missed the kick. So
A missed kick.
Sad.
Yep.
sad.
Sad times in Cleveland again.
All right, boys. You ready to have some fun in the last segment of this episode?
Oh yeah, tons.
Oh, yeah. We're going to preview the divisional round and give you our picks on the Kirby on Sports PickEm as it heats up. And plus, there's a little twist. We'll be right back. Are you looking to take the final steps in order to get your driver's license? Look no further. On the Road Driving School offers teen and adult driving, along with classroom sessions for teens and adults, DMV re-exam classes, and driver improvement classes. On the Road Driving School has what you need in order to get on the road. Contact them today at 540-869-6105. That's On the Road Driving School, 540-869-6105. On the Road Driving School will get you on the road.
One more time.
And a huge thanks to our other sponsor as well, Nulook Landscaping. Make sure you contact Nulook Landscaping for all your landscaping needs. Today, welcome back to the Kirby on Sports podcast. It's now time to preview the divisional round and give you our picks for another round of the playoffs. Dan Dembski, Carlos Martinez, I am Josh Kirby. Let's get right into it, boys. How about it? We take a look at the updated playoff picture into the divisional round. So we have the matchups, which include the 1 seed Broncos and the 1 seed Seahawks now in play. The 49ers will travel to Seattle to face the 1 seeded Seattle Seahawks, and the Rams traveling to face Chicago. Buffalo traveling to Mile High to face off against the Denver Broncos, and the Texans traveling to face the New England Patriots. And again, for everybody on our audio platforms, a look at the divisional round of the playoffs. 49ers at the Seahawks, Rams at Chicago, the Bills at Denver, and the
Wait.
Texans at New England.
Why are you describing it again when you just described it?
Just making sure everybody gets it. So with that, that is the divisional round. Is there anything to add before we get into the best segment on this Good to Average podcast?
Yeah, you're an absolute stooge. That's what I'll add.
All right. Thanks, Carlos.
Dan?
Nothing additional. I think you covered what I was going to say. So
All right, let's get it.
Excellent.
You know how polite I am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us
Oh my gosh.
begin the pick'em segment. From this good to average podcast. Well, this isn't the one we want to start with. Because what everybody really wants to know is how good the secret picker did. Well, secret picker is 68-45.
Oh my!
They went 3-3. We all went 5-1. It's okay, boys. Just chill out. All right. So they
chill.
are currently still remaining in first place with a record of 68-45. As we go on to us, I'm getting closer. All right. It went from a 6-game lead down to a 4. Okay. We are within striking distance, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So I'm in second place at 64-49. We all had the same picks last week, so we all went 5-1. Kirby trailing right behind me at 63-50, and Dan getting some daylight finally from his losing record and going to 60-53. Dan,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I do have to inform you that you are mathematically eliminated from winning the pick'ems,
Yes.
but you are not mathematically eliminated from getting out of the Kirby zone, as you're only 3 games behind Kirby, 4 games behind me. You're 8 games behind the secret picker, so you have no shot of.
Oh, I had no shot weeks ago at this point. I was doing the math in my head.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. So obviously we're just going to be picking every single divisional round game, but we added a little twist because of the fact that we lost a game from the Green Bay Dallas tie earlier in the season. We have decided to add a game this week to make up for it, and we decided to pick the national championship between Indiana and Miami. So instead of 4 games, as we normally do during the divisional round, we are going to 5 games. We have been trying all season to figure out how to make up that game because we were tired of our records not really matching, what it looked like last year. But we figured out to do it this way. So what I'm going to do first, though, is we're going to go over the secret pickers picks, and then I'll go into my picks, and then we'll throw it to Dan, and then we'll throw it to Kirby, which, by the way, get your happy ass at the bottom where you belong. So the secret picker has chosen the Bears over the Rams. They are contractually obligated to take the Broncos, as they do support the Denver Broncos over the Bills.
I never knew that.
Wow, maybe it's because I didn't tell you that.
That's why it's called a secret picker.
Jeez, man. They have taken the Seahawks over the 49ers. They took the Texans over the Patriots.
Interesting.
And they are taking Miami to win the national championship.
Good pick.
As we go back to our regular pick'ems graphic, I will now go over my picks, and because of course I'm your three-time pick'ems champion, fighting for my life to make it 4 times so I can happily retire and go off into the sunset. All right, I'm gonna go with the Rams over the Bears. Look, the Bears, I feel like, might have used all their juice on the Packers, and if they start off slow again, the Rams will have their way with them, and they are not going to make the mistake that the Packers made. That Rams defense is really good as well. And, they got the playoff jitters out of them. I think that they pull off the win in Chicago. I'm going to take the Bills over the Broncos for the sole reason of I just don't know which Broncos team is going to show up. They've had essentially, they played that last game. So no, they've had the week off. Bo Nix, just that Denver offense is not great. That Denver defense is a different story, of course. But I think that's just what it's going to come down to is, can Bo Nix and that offense get going, which we've seen them do before, obviously. I'm not saying they can't. But also, is this Josh? I just cannot bet against Josh Allen right now. I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills over the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks over the San Francisco 49ers, mostly because I think Seattle's defense is just something to marvel at. It's a great defense. And so long as Sam Darnold doesn't go pumpkin mode, the Seahawks are a great, like, well-built team. And I think San Francisco, finally the injuries will catch up to them, and we're going to see a tough game in Seattle, but victory by the Seahawks nonetheless. I'm going to take the Patriots over the Texans. Look, that Texans defense is very strong, but like we said, that Texans offense is not great. And all it takes is Drake May, getting these guys going. It does look like they're not going to have Matt Collins again for another week, so that might be a concern. But I think that the Patriots will be fine, and I think that Drake May got those jitters out of him in that game against the Chargers, and I think he's going to play much better, much more calm against the Texans, and I think that the Patriots pull out the win, and Mike Vrabel gets to the AFC Championship game. And then I'm going to go with Indiana over Miami. Indiana has been dominating this whole entire run, and Mendoza has been great, and even though it's in Miami, and Miami is basically playing at home. I mean, how much of an advantage is Hard Rock Stadium? So I'm going to pick Indiana because they just feel like the team of destiny, and I just think it's really hard to stop them right now. So with that, I will now throw it to this podcast's favorite number 2, my esteemed co-host when Kirby's not here, the Josh Allen and my Patrick Mahomes, Dan Dembski.
Thank you, Carlos. I will start with taking the Chicago Bears over the Los Angeles Rams. I think the weather is going to play a bigger factor in this game than people think. The temperature at kickoff in this game is like 19 degrees. It's going to be brutally cold in Chicago, and I think that will certainly benefit the Bears more than it will the Rams. I know we've seen Stafford and the Rams play in snow and other adverse conditions before, but I just think quite frankly, the Rams kind of got off to a slow start against the Panthers as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. Really, I think this game is gonna boil down to who gets a quicker start, like Carlos said. But I think in this case it will be the Bears. I think Caleb Williams will continue to have some magical moments left in him, and they will advance to the NFC title game. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos over the Buffalo Bills. I have to say I went back and forth on this one for like 10 or 15 minutes before I finally landed on the Broncos, because part of me says that this is, like you guys have both said, like this is Josh Allen's year to finally, go to the Super Bowl. But the other part of me says that, like, it just seems like people are kind of disrespecting Denver in certain ways. So I think them being at home does make a difference in this game. It is more difficult for Buffalo to have to go on the road and take, a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the road. Can they do it? This game again, I think, is a coin toss. I really do. I mean, even if you look at the betting odds, it's pretty much, that type of situation. So all that said, I'm not very confident in my pick, but I will be taking the Denver Broncos. I just think that, people are kind of counting them out, and everyone's talking about Josh Allen and the Bills, and people are not really giving the Broncos their due for everything they've done this season. And I think that they kind of feel that disrespect in a way, and they will come out on top as a result of that. I will take the Seattle Seahawks over the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, Carlos kind of nailed this one. The injuries to San Francisco, and I think also just the way Brock Purdy did not play great against the Eagles, and this is a defense that you really have to be on top of things, and I just think that this is going to be too much for the 49ers to overcome. And just like Carlos said as well, I think if the only way I see Seattle losing this game is if Sam Darnold just implodes and throws like 3 or 4 interceptions and gives them a chance to, get a win that way. I think otherwise the Seahawks will win this game. It's going to be close, and I think it will come down to the end. This is obviously a divisional matchup. These are always those types of hard-fought games at the end, but I think Seattle will get the best of them. I will be taking the Patriots over the Texans. This is one of the easier picks, I think, in the divisional round. I don't necessarily think this is going to be a blowout by any stretch, but I think New England is clearly the better team. I do think Drake May could struggle a little bit against this defense, especially the pass rush. Obviously, we saw what the pass rush did to Aaron Rodgers, but I think the Patriots are definitely more well-equipped to handle the blitz and to also run the football as well. So I think the Patriots will come out on top. It's going to be a hard-nosed sort of throwback game. I think I could see that being the case. And then last but not least, I'm going to take the Miami Hurricanes over the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana has had a magical run this season, and obviously they have rolled through the first 2 rounds of their playoff games, but nobody is giving Miami a fair shake in this game, I don't think. That's why I'm picking them. I think the underdog wins in this situation, and I think for once, Miami's defense is going to slow down IU when it matters most, and they're not going to give up 60 points like the other 2 opponents that Indiana has played in the college football playoff. I think this is going to be a really good game. I hope it's close. I hope I'm not dead wrong. Obviously, this will be clipped and shared forever if I am. But I think Miami's able to pull this out and pull off a really big upset in the college football playoff championship. So with that, I will throw it to the founder, co-host, founder, host, and CEO of this show, Josh Kirby. And current owner of the Kirby Zone, Josh Kirby.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Dan, my picks will go as follows. I think this game is going to be a really close matchup between the Rams and the Bears, but I think temperature is going to play a factor. But again, this could go either way. I had trouble deciding, but I'm sticking with the Bears. The Broncos over the Bills, I'm taking the Broncos. The Broncos are at home, a week's rest. And I know 1 seeds have failed, but I just think the Broncos will come out on top in this game against the Bills. Mile high in the playoffs. I know that's a fun atmosphere. Yeah, absolutely. I'm picking the Broncos. The number 1 seed Seattle Seahawks, I'm taking them over the San Francisco 49ers. I think they have this game pretty handedly, so I will take the Seahawks. I'll take the Patriots. I love what Drake May and the offense is doing for the Patriots, and I'm not sure Houston's defense, obviously they're really good, but can Houston's defense make enough stops to try to win a game here? I think this will be another close game, but I am taking the edge to the Patriots there. And in the national championship game between Indiana and Miami, I am taking none other than James Madison 2.0.
I knew it.
Crap.
The Indiana Hoosiers will win the national championship. Kurt Signetti doing great things for Indiana. Sure do miss him in Harrisonburg, but
sure do miss him. Sure do miss him. Like you were there for that.
Yeah, I saw him play a game under Kurt Signetti.
Ooh.
Yeah. But
this guy's a big fan of VT and JMU. He's gonna have to make a decision. Oof.
Hey, VT.
Anyways, before he starts
man, my God.
I know.
History lesson. I got you, boys, some history.
Oh gosh, I know my record was like 10 off, probably 10 more wins.
Yeah. So going into the divisional round last year,
jeez,
I was in first place with a beautiful record of 78-36.
Oh my God, dude.
Wow.
Dan and Kirby were tied for second place with an outstanding record of 77-37.
That's so embarrassing how much
boys, what happened to us this year?
It's the inconsistency of the NFL. That's what it is.
Is it?
It has,
or is it? Or are we just losing our touch?
I think.
I mean, I think here's the thing. I think if you're above 500, you're doing all right this year.
I mean, look. Hold on. Like, okay, if I go back, let me. Okay.
Let's not go back and say we did.
We're going back. If I go back here into the archives. And we go to the 2023 pick'ems, which was Kirby's worst pick'ems. Oh my God. So in the 2023 pick'ems, 2 years ago, going into this round, Dan, you were in first place with a record of 76-38.
Oh my God.
I was in second place with a record of 74-40. So a 10-game difference between where I'm at now to where, whatever. Kirby, this one is incredible because this was your worst pick'ems. You were at 64-50.
You're worse.
Essentially
your worst.
saying we have done so bad this year that we have dropped to that level of picking like Kirby did that year. And Kirby is actually doing worse than that year. And yet is still within the striking distance of at least second place.
Yeah, he's
not
right, he's one
so
game
Kirby's
behind.
not mathematically eliminated here. Because he's got I think Kirby only has 2 games different from the secret picker. So that would put him at, if he got those 2 games right.
And he could pass you this week.
Yeah, he could pass me. So that would put him at 3. No, that's right. Kirby's technically almost mathematically eliminated because it would be a 3-game split between him and the secret picker.
Yeah, he'd almost have to.
And they would only have 3 games left, so the best he could get is a tie, and then we'd have to go to a tiebreaker scenario, which we know didn't work out for Kirby last year.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So, but the key scenario here is I have 4 picks different from the secret picker. If I go 4-0 on those picks, we've wiped it out. We've wiped it out, boys. But if I go anything less than 3-1, it's over. It's done. The secret picker has won the pick'ems, and we have a new champion.
All right.
Can I be reminded again, just real quick, of when we found out about the secret picker? Was that was like in the middle of the season, right?
Yes, but the secret picker had been picking the whole time.
Yeah, but that was sort of the fun of it.
We have a whole spreadsheet, baby. We have a whole spreadsheet of their picks.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There we go. With that, that's the end of the
Just so you know, the secret picker is very excited to rub it in our faces that they beat us.
All right.
100%.
All right. Well, with that concludes episode 243, the wild card wrap up, and we are all over the place. There we go.
We're not all over the place. We were exactly where we should have been.
Yeah. So, anyways, this concludes the wild card wrap up, episode 243. A ton of fun. Great to be back with both of you.
Hold on.
Divisional round right around the corner.
Before we exit, I do have to ask a question.
Divisional round right around the corner. That's all.
Before we exit, though, I do have to ask you a question, Kirby. I just need your honest response to this.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing that we had somebody join the pick'em secretly and they are about to win, and you still have never won it?
Thoughts? Comment?
It is.
That's not a good answer.
Everything happens for a reason.
Kirby, you lost 4 years in a row in last place. This was supposed to be your year.
It started so promising.
Come up with?
I don't know. I just do it for fun. A lot of fun. It's a
a
lot of fun.
You have a lot of fun losing.
You have a lot of fun losing. That's what you definitely do. I have a lot of fun winning. I love winning. All right. That's why I'm trying my damn hardest to keep this belt. All right.
Boys, certainly appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to next week.
Always.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the 3-man booth is taking over Capital One.
Yeah!
So if you're at the Caps, who are they playing, by the way? I forgot who they're playing.
Kirby? I forget. He doesn't know either. Oh,
Dude,
great. We're off to a good start.
I'm being dead honest. I don't
let me
remember
look.
who the Caps are playing tomorrow.
Let me
San
look. Let me look.
Jose.
Oh, really? We're
Oh,
playing
the
Sharks?
Sharks.
The Sharks.
We're playing the Sharks? Okay. So if you're at the Caps Sharks game tomorrow,
Say
and you see us
hello.
walking around, you just see us around, come say hi.
Yeah, come say
Say
hi.
hello.
Come say hi. We promise Kirby doesn't bite.
We'll make sure he doesn't this time. He's
All
had
right.
some issues in the past.
All right. All right. Thank you again to all of our sponsors, Frederick County Parks and Recreation, the title sponsor of the Kirby on Sports podcast, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Shenandoah Music, Icon Media, On the Road Driving School, Nulook Landscaping, Barry Pearson with Equipment Share Advanced Solutions, and Don't Sleep Energy, the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time. Thanks so much for sticking with us for the wild card recap right here on episode 243 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Find us on YouTube and all audio platforms. Until the divisional round, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy another round of playoff football. Should be a lot of fun, and we will catch you right here next week.